Good afternoon on what is a cool, bright but changeable day. It is Friday, August the 19th. I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And a stack of parcels to unbox. And the first one I'm going to do is this one. So I'll just get the knife. Go. Inside, what we have got is this, which is the Staffortonshire or Shire Trading Company works of John Williams, and it's from Lamentations of the Flame Princess. The Staffortonshire Trading Company works by John Williams. My name is John Benjamin Williams. I'm an English cartographer and architect employed by the Staffortonshire Trading Company, small in size but with powerful connections. The Staffortonshire trade commodities all around the known world, particularly in Europe. This is what this is what people see me do and hear me say. However, this is not why I am employed by Staffortonshire. For the past 20 years, I've travelled the globe as a spy for the English crown. Now, in my 60th year, the year of our Lord 1674, my health is failing. Before I lay down with God, I complete and compile the cartographic works created during my travels for the Staffortonshire, ultimately the English cause. John Benjamin Williams, 1674. This book is filled with maps and illustrations based on 17th century historical references to help inspire adventure and create memorable games. So that's blurb on the back. This is a book of maps and floor plans, which is set across Europe, and we've got all the locations marked for the various maps, and also sorry, just take out the bookmark that comes with the blurbs, and also across the world as well, even across to the New World, of course, which is what it would have been at the time. So we get into now. So this is actually, it's by Glynn Seal, whom you may well know from the Midlands setting, the OSR setting, based upon essentially a humorous take and green infused take upon medieval England. In the United Kingdom. So here we have an illustration of John Benjamin Williams himself. Before we get into the list of maps done in his journey order, so it's almost like you've got like almost like a cartographic journal of the author. We have an introduction, of course, one from Glynn himself, and then from the gentleman, the cartographer of the setting. And where we start is an English mansion, and we've just got floor plan after floor plan like this. I'll show you that close up. The clarity on that is really fantastic. So this is obviously where he was grown or living, the English school where he attended, Queen's Sconce fortification. So we've got plans of a fortification as well. Typically it's designed to to house cannon and that sort of thing. We even have a typical English shop, very clean and simple, but really easy to use. And then we go on to a typical English dwelling, and quite mundane initially, but again we've got the dwellings in various sizes. And then we have a map of Dudley Castle, obviously close to where John Williams grew up, and so that sort of thing is always appreciated. You can easily drop that into your fantasy campaign if you like. Nobody's going to go, oh no, that's just Dudley Castle, but you can actually set up your game at Dudley Castle. And this is all perfectly in keeping with the early modern period, default period for Lamentations of the Flame Princess, weird fantasy roleplay, but there are no rules for that game in here. So you really don't have to be beholden to that game at all. We've got a standard kind of older style castle keep, a smaller one, barbican, parts of a castle, a parish church. These are all sort of like, you know, the kind of buildings that you that if you're interested in sort of like the history of the United Kingdom, you do find across the country. You have to kind of search for them a bit, but you know, if they would be you know, part of the landscape back in the 17th century. So you know, we get onto a watchtower beacon in Wales, so it's spreading out further and further away from where he grew up. A gin house. This is all fantastic, just really great buildings, you know, that you can just drop easily into your campaign, take inspiration from. A cathedral, London Cathedral. And the other great thing about this is that you don't have to use them for that period. Many of these buildings still exist, and so you can take them and drop them into, you know, your modern campaign as well, or your your Victorian era campaign. Then we've got a map of an ironworks. Just how useful is that? I mean, you may not use it very often, but it's there and it's accessible and it's really easy to use. Again, basically we've got a forge, and then essentially we get out at a hospital. What does a hospital look like in the 17th century England? We don't know. Here we well, because we do know, but obviously, you know, it's not something you know readily. But here's a map of it for you to use. Across several floors. I mean, all floors of that building are mapped out. Should you want to use them? Cockfighting theatre. You know, specifically a building devoted to you know, rearing and raising cocks and having them fight each other, and then, you know, gamble, which is a fantastic place to set a scene. Similarly, we have an anatomical theatre for study of corpses and dissection of them, you know, to learn anatomy. Imagine, you know, that's another good location to add. Again, college in England. This would be something akin to Oxford or Cambridge. And again, that's done on several levels. So, you know, we have or several stories. So, a library, and then even London Bridge. I mean, London Bridge back in the period was, as you can see, essentially built on. It was not just a route across a river, across the River Thames. It was a place with homes and shops and so on. And Glynn has mapped these out. So if you are looking for like a historical resource of maps, honestly, this is really, really good. And you know, then we've got the Mayflower. You know, one of the most important, I mean, certainly regard one of the most important vessels from history, and you know that it carried the first sort of amongst the first settlers to North America. Then we have you know, the Popham Colony in America, a map of that. Fantastic, and typical colonial structures. So this is also useful if you were looking to run something like Flames of Freedom, or games set within that period. So I could just go on, just show you map after map, and here we have, you know, another sort of like what else we got here? Jamestown, North America. It depends upon where you're taking your campaign. You know, also the other thing is, needed some locations for a time travel campaign. Brilliant. Here we go. I mean, it's all very specific to an early period, but great. Plantation and Plantation House. You obviously would want to visit those during the period as well. But you know, then we have a watchtower from a Spanish colony. and a Spanish galleon, so you know you can throw in a bit of piracy if you want. But and then we get into, we've got locations in France as well, so you know the lighthouse of Gironde. We want to do a musketeers campaign. If you're running something similar to that kind of during that period, whether it's On Guard or I was trying to think, but I mean there are several role-playing games set during that period. Flying Blades, for example, typical French royal house in Aquitaine, and then a French prison. Really, really good. Now, and even a map of the Louvre. Really, really good. It's just map after map. You know, typical Italian villa. Just really good. You know, you're running this using 17th century minimalist. Even really good, useful for that. Mausoleum complex, India. Obviously the Taj Mahal, but you know, you use it however you want to. So we've got here combination bridge and weir in Persia. So it does stray out of Europe. Obviously does North America, but it goes into Asia Minor as well. It's really nice inclusion. So you know, typical Ottoman royal house, Ottoman mosque, Turkey. Fantastic resource. So a little bit of confession, of course, is that I did edit this book. Not a lot of text to it, I admit, but it was a really nice book to work on. And the thing is, because I edited parts of this book, I can't review it. I can tell you it's very good, and I think, you know, as you can see from the maps, they're really clear and easy to use. And add to your game. I mean, need a map of the Kremlin, you know, in circa 1600. It's there. It's such a fantastic resource, and I think that if you are running a game in this period, it's almost, say, not quite a necessity, but such a useful resource. And I would absolutely give this, if I was to review it, I really would give it a positive review, because the maps are clear to use, minimal text, and you know, they're going to add so much to your game if you're running it during this period. Anyway, so that's the Staffortonshire Trading Company works of John Williams, a collection of cartography, published by Lamentations, the Flame Princess, but drawn by Glynn Seal. So, if you have liked this unboxing in Nook, then please do click on the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a parcel and a book or game which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do hit that subscribe button down below. In the meantime, thanks again for watching, and I'll be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.